All right, gang, a number of things have sort of come to a head, and I need to make a show announcement, channel announcement. And it's nothing terrible. It's just you guys deserve to know some of this stuff, and some of you are following us over at like Patreon Subscribe Stars, some of you are not. It's all over the place. So let me make a couple of things clear. One, you may have noticed that there's a virus going around, and that has mucked with shipping, it's mucked with product supply, it's mucked with everything. So from the C&Rsenal perspective, let's talk about a couple of challenges I've faced. Number one, we planned a spring fundraising campaign with a pretty cool product. That is all scrapped until this thing calms down because we just can't get our stuff together. It was going to be something pretty unique. It will show back up as soon as we're able to do it. So sort of that accessory fundraising, that merchandising, at the moment that is turned off. And that does hit the wallet, but it's not the end of the world because we still have our Patreon supporters, our Subscribe Star supporters. I keep trying to say reporters. I want to thank all of you who are able to support us there. And those of you who have had to turn it off, I've actually gotten a number of messages that say, I'm really sorry, but, due to what's going on, I'm no longer employed, I'm no longer receiving a check. You guys don't have to apologize to me for that. You do what's best for you and your family. I completely understand. Right now, we're not dire, but we are sort of downstream, and we are like a $3 expense for most people. So I don't know that we're going to get a huge impact at first, but if things turn out poorly economically, yes, we may start to struggle down the road. We're trying our best to plan for that. Now, a lot of the people who would normally loan us things are in that sort of older, more risky area. We don't want to make them run back and forth to gun shops, to the post office, to whatever. So some of our loans have been put on hold. And so we are going to move into neutral rifles and pistols and whatever is on hand a little early. So we're still staying before 1918, but we're going to start talking about like Sweden and Switzerland and a lot of things you guys have already been asking for anyway, so I think you're going to be okay with this decision. And that's just a way for me to sort of plan out the next 5 months of what we're producing in case things go poorly or better or whatever. It's much better to have a plan of something that's in my hands that I definitely can do than to say, well, hopefully this, hopefully that. That does mean some of the bigger plans, like squib episodes on the Santa Tia in 1907, or trying to actually get down and do a really good 1911 episode. Those things are going to have to go on hold because it's insanely hard to make any plans with museums because we don't know when they're going to be open, who's going to be available, what their policies are going to be, if we're allowed to. Well, like flying, driving, what are we allowed to do? How do we get there? Do we get sick and then we lose production for 3 weeks? What's going to happen? So it's getting a little inflexible in terms of making last minute decisions. And so we're going to have to sort of lock in on a plan, start rolling with that. And then as I get time on the side, I'm going to try to get little things done so that by the fall we can start to see really exciting stuff. I highly expect, however, that the episodes I have planned for over the summer are going to keep you all very happy anyway, because some of these are the most requested guns we've had. Now, leaving the sort of C&Rsenal family, final note, if you're worried about any of this, if you want to make my life easier, Patreon Subscribe Star, thank you to the guys that are already there. But leaving C&Rsenal, a couple announcements. One, Bloke on the Range has put out an announcement that he's concerned about the ultimate survival of several thousand .22 caliber training rifles. I am not as entirely well versed on the issue as he is, so I will leave you to check out his video on the matter. I've linked it below. Please do check it out. Number two, a lot of you may have noticed that our good friend Ian and his Headstamp Publishing have actually produced another book. And I want to be very clear, as much as I like Ian and Headstamp and blah, 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 what I love about this book is that it's actually being done by another friend of ours, Jonathan Ferguson, who has repeatedly lent his time and effort to help smooth out issues, especially with primer episodes concerning either British equipment or equipment so rare that only the Royal Armoury seems to have what we're looking for. He has double-checked a number of facts for me by just physically observing guns. He's taken photos for me. He's done all sorts of stuff to help the show almost thanklessly. So I want to be very clear when I say that when you buy that book, you're actually showing support to someone who has previously supported your viewing of this show. So thank you, Jonathan, for all the help, and I'm certainly buying your book. And on top of it all, thankfully, it's not some piece of whatever that's a token of how much we care about them. It's actually a really good looking book. From what I have been shown privately, it's exciting to see. I really like the Bullpup idea as being a whole book built around that. The history seems fascinating. There's a lot of little undiscovered things that you don't see out there on the internet and in the daily. I'm actually really excited for this title, and I will be glad to add it to my library. You should be too. All right, and then while we're talking about reading on the internet, while you're waiting for that book to show up, you may consider hanging out at Surplus.com, which is currently half of a mess. This is a website that I set up when I was worried about sort of demonetization and deplatforming, the idea being that if I could create sort of a blog roll that would link to various YouTube videos on old guns, well, then that way, if my show goes down, if British Muzzleloaders goes down, or even if just certain videos go down and you can't find them on YouTube because they banned loading Shaspo cartridges, well, then there would be a place where we could at least aggregate and link to those videos so that you don't have to scramble all over the internet to find them. Well, that concept has expanded. It's really just been in sort of an alpha beta phase for years as I occasionally get time to play with it. But with coronavirus and everything going on, I kind of had the idea to open it up to the public more. So we're allowing user-submitted articles. So what that is meant to sort of fix or replace is, some of you may remember back in the day, like Surplus Rifle would have all these articles on how to disassemble or a little bit of history. And then they also had the forum. But it was like the forum is over here and the articles are over here, and people were really loving those things. And then some of that stuff's vanished, either because the moderators are no longer there, or the sites have sold, or a lot of things were hosted with like Photo Bucket, and now they're just all, you guys know, it's all grayed out. You go to some forum post, it's all dead links. Well, we're trying to give you guys an opportunity to put it somewhere where we promise to take better care of it. We're going to keep that site running as long as we can, and if it ever goes down, we'll ship the whole thing out for archiving with images, with everything. That data will not be deleted. It's on one of our servers. It's not sort of pushed out to a bunch of different dozen places like the old way. So if you want to write a little article and you want it to sort of last, you're more than welcome to put it there. The user submitted stuff is not being reviewed for authenticity. Nobody has the time to do that sort of research and editing, but it is a sort of ability for the old gun guys to have somewhere to dump this material where they used to be able to keep it somewhere, and a lot of it's gotten lost. I'm just trying to give them a place to do it all over again if they want to. And if you don't, that's fine too. The reason it's under Surplus and not C&Rsenal is I'm trying to keep it neutral, because I don't want anyone to assume that they're working underneath me. It's supposed to be a community site for the community to use however they see fit. I'm just footing the bill because I think it's worth having, and it's a little bit of an insurance policy for me and people like me, because it lets me reach you in case somebody turns off that TV tuner at the YouTube level, and that's really what my financial interest is there. It's a little bit of insurance that I'm not completely silenced one day, but that's really it. So it's very much like a beta site. There's some features and utilities there. There's some that are not there that should be there. Use it. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. My hope is to try to put something together that the community can actually use without it being too much trouble. Presently, there is no forum associated with it, and that's mostly on purpose because, again, we don't necessarily want it to be its own destination. We want it to be a utility that other forums and other people can use without it sort of becoming a branding all of its own. That may or may not work in the long run. That might be a failing idea, but I just wanted to put it together as loosely as possible at first and let you guys kicking it around. All right. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.